The other day I was talking with Steve Aaron with telephone timesheets, and we decided to go ahead and do a Zoom call. And in the Zoom call, Steve, showed us around the site and told us a little bit more about their product. So go ahead and check this out. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised about their product that they have.
I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear somebody.
Oh, good. All right. I think we all hear each other.
All right, yeah, we're all here. All right, great. The Steves are here.
I know.
Crazy.
Yeah, that is, isn't it? Well, I just want to thank you guys for getting on this this call, and telling us a little bit about telephone time. I had a chance to get on your website and look around a bit, and I got questions, and they're all just I guess they're all the basic questions that you guys probably have heard 100 times. but anyway, if you would you please introduce yourself, and then hopefully I got it set up to where you guys can share the screen anytime you want. So if you've got a way that you want to show a demo or something, just go ahead and do that.
Yeah, that's what we thought we'd do. Yeah, I'll start. I was actually going to just do a little bit of an overview first, talk about the system at a high level, talk about the pricing model, and then turn it over to Steven and let him do a demo, because he does most of the day-to-day interaction with customers and does demos more often, so he's probably better at it than me. But as far as intros, we're both Steve Aaron. He goes by Steven, I go by Steve, but I am more or less the product manager for telephone timesheets, and based here in Minnesota.
Whereabouts?
Farmington, on the south side of the Twin Cities. Yep.
Yeah, I'm in Plymouth.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Wow. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, small world.
Yeah.
It is. Great.
And I'm Steven, and I handle most of the day-to-day interactions with the customers, like you said. So customer support, I do some outbound in terms of generating business and support all of the manuals and support documentation. So a lot of the technical stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Great. So can you guys tell me a little bit of the background? How this software become? Did you solve some kind of problem, or how this happened?
Yeah, it's a fun story. I think really we started this product originally 2015. It was sort of an experiment. I was working with a couple of developer friends of mine that I've worked with and built some other products with in the past. And we actually originally built this service, a prototype of it, for my brother-in-law when he started a cleaning company in Eau Claire, Wisconsin.
Yep.
And so janitorial is in our blood for sure. My brother-in-law, I think at the time he had maybe 10 employees. He had a construction business, and I think he felt like he can't keep building houses forever. And so he just completely made a shift, decided to start a janitorial company in Eau Claire. And he got to about 10 people and was struggling tracking time. He had people calling him. He had them texting, "Hey, I'm here. Hey, I'm leaving. Hey, I'm going to be late." And he was struggling to just create the time sheets that he could use to do payroll. And he was literally building timesheets based on phone calls and things like that. But he also struggled with no-shows. And especially when you're starting off, you have 10 people, you got brand new customers, you don't want to find out the next day, "Hey, your guy never showed up." And so he asked me, he knew I was a voice guy. I had done some things. I'm more of an IT background and in sales as well. And he asked me, "Hey, can you build something where they call and they check in by phone? And also, if they don't, we have the system call me." That was his biggest thing. And I poked around and I saw a bunch of stuff, but when it came to the notification side, I didn't really see a fit. There wasn't a product out there that had really robust notifications where it would call and let them know your guy didn't show up. And so I was like, "Yeah, I'll build you something." And we built a prototype on a couple of servers. And once we got that working and proved the model, we quickly moved it to the cloud. So it runs, everything we have now runs in Amazon Web Services, which is really the gold standard for cloud computing.
Yes. Yeah, that's fantastic. I have to ask, is he still in the cleaning industry?
Is he still? Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a great story. He's still a customer, so that's important. He didn't move on to T-sheets or something else, but he still uses the system, and he has pretty close. I think he's almost at 50 people now. So he's grown the business nicely, and he uses telephone timesheets. He's got a couple of I guess managers now that work underneath him that use telephone timesheets, and that's how he manages his day-to-day business.
That's fantastic. Yeah, it's good to hear. It is a challenge. Yeah, because myself, I've been in the industry 34 years. I have owned multiple cleaning companies, built them up from scratch and sold them. And we started the 𝗟𝗘𝗢𝗧''𝗦 back in 2005 because we've seen a need for good information out there on the internet. We're just seeing such horrible information, bad information that was misleading a lot of people. So that's how we got started with the 𝗟𝗘𝗢𝗧''𝗦, and it services the commercial side of the industry. We had so many people coming to our site that were doing residential cleaning. They kept on asking for more and more information for residential, and we knew that industry too. So we went ahead and started. That was in 2009. We started myhousecleaningbiz.com to service the residential side of the industry. And that's what we've been doing ever since. We're an educational site. The 𝗟𝗘𝗢𝗧''𝗦, one of the original ideas was that we were going to be a supply house, because we still had our cleaning company and our janitorial supply house at that time. So we actually sold a lot of product and equipment on our site. But then we changed our focus and we went into all educational training. And that's where we're at now. On our site, we have 2 LMS learning management systems. We have one that's called 𝗔𝗕𝗢𝗨𝗧 University. That's where our members get access to that for any clean-related training videos. And then we have another LMS called CSU Business Library. That's another LMS that we have that is for multiple topics on business. It could be sales, it could be marketing, it could be HR and employees, it could be a multitude of things. On that side, we have over 8,000 training videos. But that's what our focus is, and that's all we do now. And and also bring people, our members, information such as companies like yours that are innovative and have good products.
Yeah, great. And it's a subscription model. That's what it looked like your members. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we have actually 3 levels. We got a free version, then we have a pro member that has full access to the site, but they don't have access to 𝗔𝗕𝗢𝗧 University and CSU Business Library. That's our premium level. That's what will take you into that area. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
We have members nationwide in over 30 countries. And it's I do a lot of coaching. Like I said, I've been in the industry 34 years, and got people I coach, all throughout the United States and in other parts of the world. Just had a call today with one of my clients that's in Ireland. In fact, that was just a couple hours ago. But yeah, it's very interesting. I enjoy doing that. I'm here to help them build their businesses, and be successful.
Right.
And our members range from everybody that's just thinking about it, that has a to companies that are doing millions and millions and millions of dollars in revenue. So it's rather interesting when you talk to a cleaning business owner that has 23,000 employees. You think, well, holy smokes, they're doing something. But it's amazing that a lot of people don't realize the revenue that you can actually make in the cleaning industry. And obviously those are the top 1% that are doing hundreds of millions of dollars, but it happens and they're out there. So,
right.
And we're here to help people get to that level, hopefully.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, well, we kind of feel the same way. I definitely helped my brother-in-law, and I saw his, I've seen him at Christmas, and I remember the first Christmas after he started using the system, and I'm paraphrasing, but it was something like, hey, you see my phone? It's not ringing. You know what that means? Everybody's where they need to be, just silence. Where before it was phone calls, texts constantly. And, he was using that process. It was a terrible operational process. And we solved all that. We made his life so much easier, and at relatively low cost. We only charge $3 per employee, so per month. So yeah, he's very happy with the system, and we've seen that time and time again. And primarily janitorial, secondarily, or maybe it's a close second, is security guard companies. Those are the two that tend to use our product the most.
Mm-hmm. Oh, good. Yeah, I've seen that your user fee only $3 per month per user. That I thought, wow, that's very affordable. The other thing that you got it in multiple languages, right? I think it was English and Spanish and French, I believe, were the three primary.
Chinese.
Oh, fantastic, yeah. Because it seems like that English and Spanish are the two primary languages that you often people request.
Yeah.
Well, I guess Stephen, do you have a demo lined up where you can actually show our viewers actually what your product does?
Yeah, I'll let Stephen do a demo. Maybe I just tee up a couple high-level concepts first. I think that might help frame the demo. Mm-hmm. I would say, if you look at what we do, and we do 4 languages today, but we could do 25 languages. It's trivial for us to add additional languages. We only service customers in the US and Canada and the UK. So from an administrative perspective, it's English only. But for the employees who call in, what they hear, what they read, that's English, French, Spanish, and Chinese. And if someone asks for Germany, we'd have that done in a week. It's really easy for us to add additional languages. So far, that's all we've had. But I think the thing that sets this product apart the most, and hopefully you'll see this as Stephen goes through the demo, 2 things. Number one, it's self-service. So you don't need anybody to set it up for you. And in fact, I would say, I don't know about the majority, Stephen have a better sense, but a large chunk of our customers never talk to us. They sign up, they use the system. It's self-service, definitely. It's very easy. There's no apps to install. There's nothing to update. We get a lot of companies that come to us from an app-based system, and they're really tired of dealing with apps on employee phones and excuses why the app doesn't work, or I couldn't update it, or whatever it might be.
Sure.
So we've consciously avoided apps and kept it very, very simple, both from the administrator experience, which you'll see shortly when Stephen does the demo, as well as from the employee experience. There's really no training required. You give the employee the number, they call in. If they can make a phone call and they can respond to a text, they're ready for the most part. And there's more to it than that, but generally that's the way it works for our customers. And it's self-learning. That's the other piece. We learn your employees, for example. That's the most obvious example. I mean, I have a customer that has probably 1,000 employees in the system, and not one of them was entered in by an administrator. They all self-enrolled by making a phone call. So those 2 things, and just overall the simplicity of the system, are what really sets it apart. The pricing, again, that's something that I think customers like. Our model is very simple. It's $3 per active user. So if you have 1,000 employees, but only 800 of them use it during your billing period, we only charge you for the 800. So you don't have to prune the employee list or do anything like that. We look at the end of the month to see how many employees had transactions, and we send you a clear bill that says you had 100 employees that had transactions, here's your bill. And we don't have contracts, we don't prorate. So if you cancel today, you're done. You won't get a final bill. We want you to be happy, and if you're not happy, if you found a better system or something else that works for you, or you went out of business, or whatever it might be, you're done with us, and we won't pester you, and we won't even give you a final bill. And then finally, we allow everybody to use the system for free for 30 days. And it's full functioning. There's no limits to it. In fact, we don't have a premium and gold and anything like that. We have one version of the product that does everything. For the first month, it's free for everybody. If they decide after a month of using it, which we think is plenty of time to figure it out if it's a fit, that they want to stay, they'll see their first bill at the end of the second month, because we have to wait till the month is over and determine whether we should bill you. And truly, if they canceled on day 58, they'd never get a bill. So lots of time to try it. I think I probably covered everything I wanted to talk about. I'll save some time for Stephen to get into a demo questions. Yeah.
Great.
Stephen, you ready to share a screen?
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Here you
There we go. All right, I'm going to share my screen here. Let me know when you can see it.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. So to get started, what we're looking at now is the administrative portal. So this is what our customers see every time they log in to manage their business. When a customer signs up with us, as we discussed, we provide them a toll-free number that's unique to their company, and it's always going to be at the bottom of their screen. So here's mine for the purposes of this demo. This is the number that my employees are going to call to clock in and clock out. And when they do, they're going to hear something like this.
You have successfully checked in.
So pretty straightforward. So we'll start by looking at how employees are managed in telephone timesheets. So I'm going to click on employees. And what you're going to get is a list of your active employees. Now, the system is self-learning, as you mentioned. So there's two ways that I can manage my employees. I can add them myself manually from this page, add their first and last name, add their mobile number, or I can just have my employees dial this clock-in number. And when an employee who's new to the system, meaning I haven't already added them manually, dials that number, they get an automated text from telephone timesheets asking them to reply with their first and last name. When they reply, they've essentially enrolled themselves. So really easy to manage employees. And if I wanted to delete one or mark them inactive, I could do it from this page, all from the actions column. So really simple. I've got 8 here. There may be several thousand for our larger companies.
Oh, one little quick thing, actually. Sorry to interrupt you, Stephen, but
sure.
You'll notice there's a column there, Steve, that says score.
Yes.
That's one we added based on customer feedback. In fact, probably 95% of what you're going to see has come from customer feedback. We love customers who call us, who email us, who talk to us. It's really hard to develop a product without customers telling you what they want, what they need. In one case, it was, I've got 500 janitors. I want to have some sense of who's behaving and who's not, who's clocking in on time consistently, who's not clocking out early, who's sharing their location, who's not doing no-shows, those things like that. And so we created a scoring system, and at a glance, you can just see if you have somebody in red, oh, look at Stephen is actually the lowest score. I don't know what that means, but at a glance, you can tell.
Right. Yep. And I've got some scheduled jobs that I did not clock into. So that's why you'll see that my score is 50. Right. So for the purposes of this demonstration, we can ignore that, but really helpful if you got a lot of people to manage. Yep. So that was employees, pretty simple stuff here. And you can see I have the GPS requirement column. If I want to require my employees to share their GPS location, I can just check that box. By default, it's checked. And I have a language selection. So I can select, like this employee, for example, is Spanish. So I change that to Spanish. So do that all from that page. So next we'll look at job sites. So I'm going to go to the job site section of the website. And job sites simply are places where your employees do work. So once I've added job sites, I can link employee mobile numbers, landline numbers, and employees can start clocking in and out. So once a new customer has reached this point where they have employees in the system and they have job sites in the system, that's it. Every other feature is optional. They're ready to start using the system. When their employees call this clock in number, they're going to hear something like this.
Press 1 for job, Johnson Motors. Press 2 for job, Citizens First National Bank.
And so on. So they're ready to start using the system. They're going to get an IVR prompt like you just heard that allows them to clock in to any of the sites that we've added. Now, if I'm a supervisor and I want to make things easier for myself and my employees, I may not want them to have to select a job. Maybe I want the system to know which job they're going to clock into. Well, I could do that by creating schedules. So let's go to the schedules section of the website. And we'll scroll down to mine. So Telephone Timesheets has a robust scheduling tool built in. So it's really easy for our customers to create and manage schedules for their employees in our system. And if we take a look at mine, for example, I'm scheduled at 4 different sites here: Menards, Johnson Motors, First National Bank, and all systems. We also support complex recurring. So if you take a look at my Menards job down here, you'll see that I'm scheduled every 2 weeks. That means I'm scheduled every other week for Menards, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 5 to 7:30. So really easy to set that up. Like I said, schedules are optional. but there's two big reasons why our customers would want to create them in telephone timesheets. The first is it informs our system. You heard our prompt that has employees pick a job from a list. If their schedule is created, for example, if I schedule Mike Johnson to work at Menards at 8 a.m. on Monday, and he calls our clock-in number on Monday at 8:02, the system knows that he's supposed to be working at Menards and clocks him into Menards. He doesn't have to select a job from that list. So that's one reason, is it eliminates the step of having the employee having to pick a job. The other is that when one of our customers creates schedules, they can take advantage of notifications. And this is big for a lot of our customers. It's the biggest feature. We can automatically notify supervisors and employees for late check-ins, early checkouts, and no-shows. So Mike Johnson is scheduled to work at Menards at 8 a.m. on a Monday, and it's 8:15, and he hasn't clocked in yet. Well, we can remind him by placing an automated call to the employee's phone. We can notify the supervisor, or both. So really powerful notifications that are dependent on schedules. Two reasons why. So
yeah, and that's kind of the tip of the iceberg. I think notifications, late check-in is an obvious one, but there's probably 15 settings in notifications. We can pester the employee. We can call them every 5 minutes for 35 minutes if they don't show up. If they fail to share their GPS, we can notify you if they checked into a job that wasn't scheduled. So the notifications are very robust, and we're not going to show it now because it's a bit more complex, but for companies that's important, we definitely cover pretty much every base. And if there's something new, bring it our way and we'll add it pretty quickly.
Yep. And this is trivial to us, but it's really big to a lot of our customers. Anybody who's got a schedule in this system can receive a copy of their own schedule by texting the letter S to that clock-in number. So if I texted that 866 number with the letter S, I would get back within seconds my own schedule for this week. So I would see when I'm supposed to work, and it's always up to date. So that's another.
That's true for time worked as well. If you text the letter T, you'll get a response that shows how many hours you've worked so far in the pay period.
Oh,
Yep.
wow, very nice.
Yep.
So then, if my employee hasn't shown up at 6:15, and you're saying that I could actually send him a notification or actually send him a call to remind him.
Yeah.
Is that something that that only happens after they've exceeded the clock-in time?
That's something that you can set. So if the employee is scheduled to work at 8 o'clock, you can set a delay. And I've seen this. So typically you might say, well, by 8:05, I want to call the employee. By 8:15, I want to get a call, right? But sometimes it's Jack, and he's really good, but he's usually 30 minutes late. So I don't want to call anybody until 45 minutes, because then he's probably not going to show up. So completely customizable. The delay parameters, all those parameters are customizable in notification settings.
And does it send a call or does it send a text?
For the employee, we make a phone call. We find that texts are more likely to be ignored, so we make a phone call to the employee. For the supervisor, we'll do a text, we'll do an email, we'll do a phone call, or any combination of the three.
Okay, great.
Yep.
Very nice.
So we'll move on to transactions. Transactions is kind of like the ops center of the site. Pull this up. So this is where administrators tend to spend most of their time. And this is where, at a glance, they're going to see ongoing transactions, previously worked shifts, no-shows, and more. So if we take a look here, let's look at this one, for example. Stephen Aaron is the employee's name, worked at Johnson Motors from 10:45 a.m. to 1 p.m. Or actually, let's go to the one below. Stephen Aaron, Citizens First National Bank, 1:30 p.m. to 3 p.m. when he was scheduled. You can see clocked in way later than that, 7:50 to 8:09, but it gives us clock-in time, so when he clocked in and when he clocked out. I can see that the total shift was 19 minutes, and I can view the GPS location of the employee when they clocked in and out, and there I am.
Yep. And we do little things like, you notice Stephen clicked on a green clock in order to see the details in a map view. But the fact that the clock was green, that's a good thing. It means that the employees shared their location right away. They called to check in and then they shared. They didn't wait for a half an hour before they shared. If they did, it would be red, right? The GPS pin marker, you can see there it's gray. But if we know the address of the job site and they check in close proximity to that address, it would be green, indicating they were where they were supposed to be. If they were 10 miles away, it would be red. So at a glance, you can see if there's bad behavior going on.
Right. Yep. Here's another one. Steve Aaron, 5 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. schedule. He clocked in at 5:17, clocked out at 8:19. I see 3 hours and 2 minutes for the duration of the shift. I can view GPS. And this is all from the transactions section. Also at a glance, I can see who's currently working. So I see Dan Aykroyd clocked in at 12:55 p.m. today and is still on the clock. Same with Arnold and Dennis. I can see that Stephen Aaron had a no-show today. So he didn't show up for his 9 a.m. shift. I can, then it brings that to my attention as the administrator and I can get in touch with him. So the transaction log shows a lot of raw data from the beginning of time. So I can view transactions from the very first day that I started with telephone timesheets, that I started using it. I could go back years if I wanted to. I could filter by employee name. I could filter by date and at a glance pull up shifts. Now it doesn't do tallies, so it won't calculate a week at a time or a month at a time. And if I wanted to view, for example, the hour tallies for any given week or for any given pay period, I would do that in the reports section of the website.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to go to reports. And our customers can generate custom recurring reports within telephone timesheets. So I have an example here of a weekly recurring payroll report. You can see that I've created it here. And what this does is I define a start date for my pay period. I define if it's weekly, every 2 weeks, twice a month, etc. We have a ton of different options there. And the report will run automatically at the end of my pay period. I can set it to be delivered to one or more email addresses. So if there's multiple people that I want to receive this report when it runs automatically, I can do that. And here's what it looks like. So at the top, you can see I have an employee summary. This gives me hour tallies for each of my employees, transaction count, any notifications that went out. And below that, I have a total. So for this pay period that started on the 1st, I have 49 hours and 30 minutes worked so far, cumulative. Below that, I have a breakdown so I can see each of my employees and the individual shifts that they worked. All of this data is Excel friendly. I can push it right into a spreadsheet. We also fully integrate with QuickBooks, desktop and online. And this was an automated payroll report that runs every week. But what if my boss told me, I need you to generate a report for the employee Mike Johnson from October 1st to October 5th. Well, that's no problem. I could go to create report, select the employee Mike Johnson, set a start date of the 1st and an end date of the 5th, and get a report for just that employee for just that period of time. So here it is. He had 12 hours and 26 minutes from the 1st to the 5th with 2 different transactions. I could do that for any employee. So we have a ton of different custom reporting that can be generated as a one-off quickly and easily, which is really powerful.
Yeah. As an example, we had a customer ask us a couple of years ago for a report that showed drive time. So when you have an employee that maybe goes from one job to another throughout the day, we use Google Maps, we have location data, and so we can estimate drive time from one location to another and show that in the report. That's the kind of custom capability that we have. The sky is really the limit, and we're always looking for ideas from customers of what types of custom reports they might want, and we try our best to accommodate them. We don't ever charge for creating custom reports. As a rule, we find if a customer wants it, other customers want it too.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and that one there is really common because you have to pay employees for all time work, and it's a matter of then the cleaning company deciding on how they're going to pay that person for that travel time.
Right. Yep.
Very nice.
Okay, so we'll move on to announcements. We'll go to admin and then down to announcements. And we added this feature because our customers needed a way to get important information out to multiple employees at once. So I have two examples of common scenarios for announcements here. The first is an open enrollment reminder. So this is an important healthcare notice that needs to reach all of my employees. So you can see here, I've targeted all of my employees. That means anybody who calls to clock in during this defined time, so I've set October 1st to October 31st, is going to hear this when they call to clock in.
Reminder. Open enrollment period ends October 31st. Please submit the required documentation to HR.
And that's in English, French, Spanish, and Chinese. Whatever language the employee speaks, we translate for you. You just have to type it.
Yep. So they're going to hear that. Now, the other announcement is specific to a job site. This is East Closet reminder. Reminder, all janitorial supplies must be stored in East Closet. Now, I don't want everybody to hear that when they clock in. So this is only relevant to one job site. So I've targeted Citizens First National Bank. That means only employees who are clocking into Citizens First National Bank are going to hear this East Closet reminder. So two different examples. There's countless other examples I'm sure that our customers have used, but healthcare announcements, company-wide announcements, that's a big one. And
have a great Christmas, you know.
Yep, could be anything like that. So we saw how announcements are handled when employees call to clock in, but we also have an employee web portal. And a lot of our employees, or a lot of our customers, their employees are using that. Now, the benefit of using the employee web portal is they're gonna actually be able to view and save the attached documents. So I'm gonna switch over to our employee web portal. And I'm on a Mac right now, but this will work on any browser. So, you know, they're going to be using this from their smartphone, most likely.
And actually, sorry, Stephen, to interrupt again, but that's true of everything you've seen. This is designed as a responsive web application. So even the administrator, the supervisor, think about that transaction log. You can put your iPhone in portrait mode or landscape mode and scroll through all the transactions and the no-shows. So we have many administrators and supervisors that never use a computer. They only use their smartphone to manage the system. It works on any device.
Yep.
Nice.
So this is what an employee is going to see if they use our web portal from their smartphone, and they can navigate to timeclock.telephonetimesheets.com from any device. This is what they're going to see. So we're going to check in. And we're going to select Menards. Now I have the option to enter notes. For example, if I arrive during a big remodel operation and I want my supervisor to be aware of that, or I want to document it in case it affects my work, I can do that here. Confirm. And now I'm greeted with this announcement. Reminder, open enrollment period ends October 31st. Please submit the required documentation to HR. Now, the benefit of using the web portal, like I said, is I can view the enrollment form right from my phone as I clock in. And there it is. I can save it, I can print it, I can do whatever I need to do. I'm gonna hit done, and that's it, I'm checked in. Now, another benefit of using the employee web portal is while I'm on the clock, if I need to document something or file a report for my supervisor, I can do that using the Shift Report button. I'm going to click on that. And I'm going to create a shift report. And I could put anything in here. Maybe it was I'm working in an office building and there was a toner explosion and there's ink all over the place and I can't clean it up during my daily maintenance. Anything I need to put here, I can. If I'm using a phone, I can also add a photo from my gallery or take a live photo and then submit it. Now it's visible to the administrator. So whether I want to notify my supervisor that something has gone on during my shift, or I just want to be on the safe side and document it in case it comes up later, I can do that. That's now forever in the system.
Okay.
I'm going to end my workday, meaning I'm going to clock out. And that's really all there is to it. That's our employee web portal.
Are we able to show any video in that portal? Such as, let's say I have a training video that I want to share with the employees. Is there a way to do that?
Oh, that's a great suggestion. We have the ability to attach right now. The attachment is limited to PDF because it's a file that an administrator or supervisor can upload into the announcement system. But we certainly could technically enable uploading of an MP4 or some kind of video file as well. It's not something we do today, but again, that kind of thing is something we're open to. And generally for features like that, you know, a couple of weeks to a month, and we can turn around and add that new feature.
Yeah, so any other questions?
I can think of you guys are checking all the boxes. You know?
That's good.
Oh, good. Yeah, you got the wheels turning for me too, Steve, because I think about things like you have an LMS system. Now, there's an opportunity for integration. So for your customers who use telephone timesheets, those videos that are available on the employee web portal could be linked to a LMS system that you maintain, as an example.
Right.
If it's a joint customer. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. That was really my only question was, you know, what other things that it would be able to connect to.
Yeah. And right now we're working on an ADP integration. So just like with QuickBooks Online and QuickBooks Desktop, where all the time entry data gets dumped directly into QuickBooks, we have the same thing. I think we're about a month out probably from completing our ADP integration and showing up in the ADP marketplace, again, based on customer requests to have that integration. But we're always open to integrations as well. That's something we think is key to the future roadmap for telephone timesheets.
Yeah, and that's usually the biggest question that I often get when somebody's looking at an app or a piece of software for something is, you know, what does it integrate with? But I think the primary one, I think you guys had that checked. QuickBooks, I believe it was.
Yep.
You had both online or cloud.
Yep. QuickBooks Online and QuickBooks Desktop. We have customers using both.
And you said, I wanted to make a note of it, but you were saying that in this portal, if we were able to connect somehow to an LMS,
mm-hmm.
A person then would be able to go in and view any particular training video that they were assigned to them.
Yep, it certainly could. If it's something where the administrator uploads a video, just like today they upload a PDF, then it would be part of the announcement system. That would be one way. But it could be as far as a direct integration for customers that are Janitorial Store customers that pay the subscription, have access to the LMS system. And you could see maybe right between that question mark and the arrows, a button that says Access Training Library.
Yeah.
Yeah, and beyond that, I think you could even set training requirements by employee, kind of like how we targeted announcements to employees or job sites. You could target relevant training videos to employees who are working at certain job sites or to certain employees and require acknowledgement. I think, you know, it could go beyond that.
Exactly what I was thinking. Because not everybody needs to have bloodborne pathogen training or hazardous communication.
Right.
They all have to have safety training.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And actually I think there's more to that, because that's actually a roadmap item for us on the security guard front. Concealed carry certificates, CPR certificates, things like that. It's not just being able to administer those things through announcements and things like that, but also for us to be able to track. If it's a requirement that I do CPR training every 6 months, we can track that. And now this is roadmap, but this is something we intend to do. to actually track the requirements of employees. And then because we have the notification system, it's a perfect fit. A notification system can say, hey, you're 5 minutes late to a job, we're going to call you. But it can also say, it's been 6 months and you haven't recertified your CPR certification, we're going to call you and let you know. You know, it's due in 2 weeks, that kind of thing. So it's kind of a way of managing compliance of employees for these kind of requirements.
So now, here I just hired a new employee, and I got him on the system. You know, generally the thing is that I would have done my onboarding initial training before I even had him in the system. But I'm trying to, just thinking out, I guess, is how I could use this for an applicant that's going through my hiring process.
Yeah, we don't have any functionality like that, like an onboarding workflow.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Now, the focus is definitely around the day-to-day transactions.
Okay.
You know, so announcements make sense when I'm checking in. It's an opportunity for me to, hey, employee, remember, you got to do this, or you should do this in a week, that kind of thing. But onboarding, yeah, I haven't really thought about that. I mean, be open to hear more if you have ideas.
Well, this is fantastic, though, guys. Yeah, I can see why it's such a success, and yeah, we'll have to see what we can do to get the word out there for you.
Well, that'd be great. Yeah, that's exactly what we're looking for. And if you have ideas on, you know, it could be a two-way street. So if there's a reason or a way to have a janitorial store button somewhere in here for the appropriate customers, obviously not our security guard companies, but,
Sure.
you know, we'd be open to that as well, especially given that you have the LMS, you have content that potentially could be integrated.
Yeah, we'd have to figure that one out.
Yep.
𝗔𝗕𝗢𝗨 University, that's a little easier, but CSU Business Library is a little different because we've got so much over there. We typically charge a separate license for that, which is around $148 per person.
Yeah. And is it geared toward the administrator, the owner, manager, or is it geared toward employees, or both?
It's actually geared towards owners and managers. CSU Business Library is for owners and managers. 𝗔𝗕𝗢𝗨 University is for the actual employee frontline cleaners.
I see. Yeah, well, an initial simple first step could be to just modify our existing announcement system. Like you say, if I'm subscribing to your 𝗔𝗕𝗢𝗨 University, I have access to that content and I want to push it to my employee and remind them, watch this video. I could do that through an announcement. That'd be an easy one.
Yeah, do your customers, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Stephen.
Oh, I was just a thought, but do your customers, they have a set of credentials then that they use that's tied to their subscription or their license that they use to sign in and access that content?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So if like you were saying, if it was integrated with the current announcement setup, that may be the way to do it, is have them link their credentials that they already have through telephone timesheets as some kind of integration, and then you can allocate those videos targeted by employees or job site. So just a thought.
Yeah, a little more complex than uploading a video, but definitely doable. As an example, with our ADP integration, as an ADP user, let's say an administrator who handles payroll and things like that, I can use my ADP credentials to log in to telephone timesheets. In fact, I can use my ADP credentials to sign up for telephone timesheets, and ADP does the billing. So you can have a pretty direct integration, or something a little bit more loosely coupled, but we're open to anything. There's really no technical limitations to the way we do things. I think one of the advantages of being in the cloud and built the way we're built, we can integrate to anything.
Yeah, great. Well, I think we'll have to get my wife involved with that conversation. I think this sounds pretty interesting. So I think the whole thing is just helping each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, let alone, crap, you're right in our own backyard. We're neighbors.
I know, that's just bizarre. It's such a
It
small
is,
world.
Yeah.
It is. Well, you know, what I'll do with this here is obviously because we recorded it, I'll go ahead and I'll edit it, and I'll put it out on YouTube, and I'll also put it on our membership sites. Sometimes we'll even, well, we generally, our newest released videos we'll put in our newsletter. So we got a pretty big following, so we should get some exposure for you.
Excellent.
If you guys are interested, you know, you can sign up for our affiliate program.
Sure. Yeah.
That's just a matter of just going to those sites, the 𝗦𝗓𝗎𝗓 and myhousecleaningbiz.com, and you'll see in the bottom navigation affiliates. Click on that, and fill her out, and Paul will review it and give you your acceptance.
Okay. And what does the affiliate program entail?
Essentially, it's where you put our link on your site somewhere for your customers to be able to click over and view or purchase anything on the Janitorial Store, where you guys would then get a percentage of it.
Okay. Yeah, sure. That sounds great to me. Yeah, it's and two-way visibility is perfect. We're open to that for sure. Mm-hmm. I'll look at it after this call.
Okay. All right. Yeah, then I'll talk to my wife Jean about some of this integration ideas. I think that might be something that I can see where that'd be beneficial to everybody.
Excellent.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, you know, in particular, I saw some of the testimonials of your customers, and I got a sense of how you help them. And I think just back in the day when my brother-in-law was getting started and he was a construction guy, he didn't know anything about janitorial. It would have been helpful for him, certainly. But, you know, for customers that are, or companies that are just getting started, this solves a whole lot of day-to-day operational problems. We've seen that. I saw it with my brother-in-law when he was getting going, and we've seen it with, you know, countless customers over the years that are getting started. We see that a lot, but also that had something else, you know, had paper or had some app-based system or whatever. And this is just, it's simple, it's efficient, and it really streamlines a huge chunk of your day-to-day operations as an owner or operator of a janitorial company.
It really does. And, you know, for the investment, I just can't see how a person could go wrong. I really don't.
Oh, you get your money back so quickly with, you know, you have accurate time data, first and foremost. That's important. I can't tell you how many customers ask for rounding. And at first we added a rounding feature, and then we realized, oh, the only reason they want rounding is because it makes the math easier. We do all the math. So we have it buried somewhere. It is a feature, but nobody uses it. We do all the math. We do payroll reports in hours and minutes or in decimal. It's your choice. And you can run it both ways if you want. And so everything is added to the minute, accurate.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just taking all the work away from them. That's what you're doing. And that's what it's all
let them
about.
focus on go get the next customer, go
Right.
land the next deal. That's how you grow your business, not spending time on timesheets and payroll.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I just want to thank you guys again, and thanks, Stephen. Nice to meet you.
It's all the Steves. All the Steves are signing off.
We're all
right.
good.
Okay. Thanks. Bye-bye.
All right. You have a good day.
You do. Well, there you go. What do you think about that? You know, boy, they got a lot of good features. It's amazing what that software does. So anybody that's just getting started or have even been a veteran of the cleaning industry, you should probably give these guys a call, you know, and start using their product. So, you know, for $3 per month per user, wow, what a low investment. So give them a call. Go to telephonetimesheets.com, and you can always get yourself a demo. And again, you know, you just can't go wrong. So contact these guys, and they'll set you up. Hopefully you got some value from this video, and if you did, feel free to leave a comment and share. And if you have not already, make sure that you subscribe. And remember to turn on those bell notifications to get the latest updates of new videos for building your successful cleaning business. Thanks for checking in today, and we'll see you next time.